have an update. Hi guys, I have an update for you. The time right now is 9:55 and the date is November 21st, Friday, November 21st, 2025. Okay, let's get into it. I have mail. This is likely, hopefully, the last mail that I am receiving regarding my divorce and the end of my separation. Yeah, but before we get into it, just a little backstory. In my previous video on final days, I did share the legal process and how it kind of works with separation and divorce here in Nova Scotia, in Canada, and you know, that's information that is okay to share. It is online, it's available everywhere. If you ask for that service, of course, like, they will give that to you. I'm just gonna speak holding this letter. I believe it could be my divorce certificate, like the final document, and likely the document that I can show if I choose to get married again. But just a little backstory. I did mention the date that I got married, which was the 28th of October 2019. I actually met my ex-husband when I was 19 years old and he was 30 years old. We had a traditional wedding in 2016, December, on the 22nd, and eventually we had the white wedding, which was like the 20th of October 2019. Separation was November 23, 2022, and family court kick-started at the end of 2022, but it was very slow to just kind of get started into the system. And then 2020, since then, especially 2024, that was kind of like the highlight of everything. And yeah, I'm still in family court to some extent, and this is kind of like the end of it. And yeah, I'm saying "and" a lot. I apologize for that. I also wanted to mention that me and my ex-husband, we do have 2 children, and we have shared custody. They call it shared custody here. Some people call it joint custody, or some courts. And I have 60% time with the kids, and my ex-husband has 40%. And so the kids have parenting time every second weekend. So let's get started. Okay, wow, how do I feel? It took me a while to actually open this and get this from my mail. I got this from my mailbox today, like a few minutes ago. I just needed to come here and like set up my camera. So there's tape. They just like put tape on it. My address is in the front, and then they have like their postal stamp at the back. There's a number that's written, and then the legal aid offices. The address is right here. So I'm just gonna open this. Honestly, it just feels like my lawyer's assistant did send me like a soft copy, and she gave me some documents, you know, soft copy. And I'm just gonna open that real quick in my phone, my Gmail, and show you and kind of like explain to you just a few documents that she sent me. And my communication was through my lawyer's assistant throughout, and so whatever concerns and needs or responses I needed to make, I had to send them to my lawyer's assistant, and then she would pass them on to the lawyer. So pretty much just like forwarding my emails, and that's how we communicated. Although I did get a chance like once or twice to meet my lawyer in person when I needed to sign documents in person. So her last email, she was telling me that she had sent a physical copy, had been mailed to me, and that was October 31st. So it just tells you like it took me about 3 weeks to just like wait for it to come, to which it probably came in a few days, but the courage to just like open my mailbox. My kids are not at home today, and so it kind of felt like the perfect time as well for me to like just get into this. I am 1 week away from likely my last court date. So yeah, it will be next Friday. This time I should know how we're moving forward with our lives. So that's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. So I'm gonna look at, so that was her last email to me, and then let's see, there's an email that she sent that she had like a couple of documents there to do with the divorce. Okay, so this is information that was sent to the court while we were in that period in the last video when I was talking about you're given like a period where you can contest or a divorce and say, well, maybe if I wanted to get back with my partner, if my partner wanted to get back with me, but thankfully that did not happen because there was zero chance of that. And so those documents were, I'm just going to read the title of the document. It's it's a signed LT. Okay, I don't know what the title of this document is, but it pretty much lists all the documents that were sent to the court, which are original 4 copies of an uncontested motion for divorce, 2, the original and 4 copies of the affidavit supporting an uncontested divorce, 3, the original and 4 copies of the consent corollary relief order, 4, the original and 4 copies of the affidavit of my ex-husband, 5 copies of the divorce order, 6, a firm check in the amount of $66 to cover the filing fee. I believe this is my ex-husband who could have paid for this, because I initially wanted a divorce and communicated that I wanted a divorce. However, the legal system here has to take care of the children first, so my lawyer advised me that we needed to work on a parenting agreement before we get into a divorce. And so I got ahead of that and started working on that, and in the meantime my ex-husband decided to be the one who filed, and honestly there's no difference there. I am the one who said I wanted to leave the home and leave the marriage, so I guess that would have made him feel better, but anyway, that's not the point. I digress. 7, 4 self-addressed stamped envelopes with the designated address of both parties. Once the documents have been issued, I kindly request you contact my assistant ABC to arrange for a courier pickup. So that was that. And then the second document these documents is the actual uncontested motion of divorce. It just lists a bunch of information, that the petitioner also moves for corollary relief order for relief under the following legislation. And so they just list some things like decision-making responsibility, parenting time, child support, spousal support, matrimonial property, the costs payable to either party, the marriage certificate, an affidavit, a written agreement regarding the consent corollary relief order. In other words, that's the parenting agreement, and affidavit of the other party being notified of the proceeding. I believe that could be me. Parenting statement, statement of income of the petitioner, statement of income of property of petitioner, statement of expenses, draft divorce order, draft corollary relief order, 2 stamped envelopes, designated address with the designated address of the party making this motion, and 2 stamped envelopes with the designated address of the other party, or the ordinary address of the other party who has not designated an address. And then at the bottom it says non-parties. And because I believe my ex-husband wanted to gain something out of the divorce, hence he pushed for it. However, he didn't get anything out of it. In case you're wondering if we have property or nothing, we have absolutely nothing between us. Affidavit, the next one said affidavit supporting an uncontested divorce, and it just lists like the petitioner's information, financial information, reconciliation, ground, collusion, written agreement or previous court order, and then the children's details, spousal support, costs, and request for relief, and then some signatures and stamps at the bottom, which is the petitioner's signature and their lawyer. In this situation, I am the respondent. And so I could have actually started this back in 2022, but my lawyer advised me to focus on parenting agreement, which worked out in the best interest actually for the kids. And so there is a consent corollary relief order. We went through this last time. That's about the children and how we plan. It's like a parenting agreement pretty much. And then an affidavit of the petitioner, just information about the petitioner, how their relationship began, ended, and the fact that there was no marriage certificate in either of our possession, and hence an affidavit was needed. And then here we have the divorce order, which we're gonna open right now. So, I'm sorry that took a while, but it's a lot. It's a lot of information. It's very overwhelming. It's time consuming. Sometimes you don't know the terminology. I'll be honest with you. I would communicate with my lawyer and be like, I do not know what this means. Like, literally get on the call with me, please. Can you schedule a phone call? I need to understand what I'm getting myself into, what is being said, because there will be like that jargon and that the terminology that they use, the legal words. And so do not be afraid to ask. It's okay to ask. And even if the response is not that great, it's not about you. It's the system. Here we go. It's literally just paper. Nothing in there. Well, I don't know. I just needed a moment. So it's literally just paper. Like, the quality is not that great, so I'll need to actually laminate. I think that's the term. So we have a number in the corner. I am looking at it right now. There's a date on the left side, which is 2023. Okay. I'm just wondering why they put 2023. The divorce was filed likely 2023. I received the documents were served to me April of 2024. So in the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia, certificate of divorce. So it's very different. Like in other countries, they call this like divorce decree. In my country, it's my original country. It's a certificate. It's divorce certificate, but here they call it a certificate of divorce. This certifies that the marriage of my ex-husband and myself, our names are listed in full, which was solemnized on the 28th day of October 2019, was dissolved by a divorce order that became effective on the 13th day of September 2025, issued at Halifax, Nova Scotia, this 15th day of September 2025, signed by a court officer, deputy protonotary. I am divorced. I'll say this again. I don't think anyone gets into a marriage or gets married to get divorced. I did everything I could. In case you're wondering, literally, you can ask anyone around me, everything I could to save this marriage, to keep it, to be married for over 10 years. That's a long time. Or to be with a partner for over 10 years. It failed. There are just certain things in life that will just fail. That's okay. And I'm not a failure. Neither is my ex-husband. We were just not the right fit from the start. I was young. I was very young. But I've learned a lot. I've grown. And maybe one day I will come and share the details of why the marriage broke down. There was no way of saving it. No way, absolutely. No, we didn't go for counseling. No, it was just, yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to say. But I feel okay. It's just one of those things where when I really wanted it, I remember that was the first thing that I told my lawyer when I met with him. He told me he couldn't do that for me because it's family court. We needed to prioritize the children first, and I understood that. It took me a while to understand, actually, but now that I have it and it's just a paper, it just feels like I had already been divorced. Yeah, but moving forward, it's focusing on the parenting agreement. Just like today, my kids are not with me, they've gone for parenting weekend, and so it's that parenting exchange. In my case, we have a third party that there's no direct contact. That's how bad it is. So there's no direct contact between parents or direct communication between parents. It's strictly through a third party, an exchange of the kids and communication as well, and I'm okay with that. And the children are in therapy, have been for the past 3 years, with just as I have, and the government has supported with therapy. I have everything I could possibly need in regarding support, including family and close people and my loved ones. It's a lonely journey, but if you're going through something like this too shall pass. As cliche as that might sound, or as forever, never ending, yes, there are cases that are way more intense than others. That was my situation. And it wasn't a matter of property division or anything. It was just difficult. There was, between the two of us, one person who just wanted to make it very difficult. Like, why are you doing this? And so I'm going to make this extremely difficult for you to get through. But it ended. Like, at some point it needed to end, because at the end of the day, people need to move on. The lawyers need to get new cases and move on. We can't sit around this forever. It broke. It's done. And we're all just doing the best we can. And my children understand this from a child's perspective. And I'm sure when they grow older, with all the documentation and everything that I'm keeping and evidence, they will be able to, understand a little bit more from both sides. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Please, once again, if you need therapy, make sure to get it. If you can't afford it, try and talk to someone who you trust, well trusted, because it's needed. Support is needed during this time. You can't do it alone. It's not embarrassing. It's not a failure. I've seen so much light in my life post all of this, and I'm excited to see what's coming ahead for me and my daughters. And so yeah, it's gonna be okay. Take care, guys. Bye.